Mm-hmm. No, I get you, Boo. I did just start, though. It's okay. Alright, let's see. Adjust audio levels slightly. Let's increase the music volume a touch. Uh-oh, of course. Well, they make me add some stuff last second. I'm not going to go back and edit the multi for FNF on the Discord. Can't be bothered. Because we're 14 minutes in, and let's just see what happens. Otherwise, Mod, how you doing? Today's going to be a little different. We're only going to cover the EU branch, and then we're going to have some late-night Daisy as planned. Any April Fool's shenanigans? I don't think so, but, well, we'll see. Speaking of which, probably before I do the, whatchamacallit, the evening Daisy stream, I'll probably go, revert the Discord back to normal. But otherwise, that should be good for everything else we need to work on, so. Now we just have to wait. Otherwise, round one's going to be a bit interesting for the EU branch. Also, I am solo shoutcasting tonight. Dream's exact words were he couldn't be bothered, or couldn't be asked. And he said CBA, which I thought it was a... It's, an autocorrect glitch, because CBA is the base mod for everything else in, whatchamacallit, Arma 3, so, you know, just getting everything going. Gonna have to make a spring cleaning on the NSFW channel after your day one thing runs out. I'm not gonna clean it. I'm just gonna, we're just gonna bury it with more stuff. Don't worry about it. Oh. Actually, should we have T-Far on today? Because we are solo shoutcasting. Yeah, screw it. We'll leave T-Far on. That means every time we transition in, you're going to hear everyone speaking. So we'll see how everything goes and go from there. And you're happy I left a closet and I'm appreciating my true self. What do you mean by that, Mod Addict? Because that could refer to quite a few different things going here. But we'll see how things go. Regardless, we'll listen. Oh, they were. Yeah. No, I thought it was a good April Fool's prank for this for this time around. But yeah, no, I'll get that all reverted ASAP. Yeah, I know, Likes. I'm hoping today's is going to be a good round, and we'll see how everything go. But otherwise, we have everything written up in the mission command. I'd be going over the map, but the map is a little bit foreign to me, so we'll just jump right into it when the official round begins. I will, however, set this up. Let's go ahead and do the prediction. I will go ahead and write that. Blue... There we go. Just to get that started, it's going to be Blue 4 and Green 4 versus Op 4. Op 4 is attacking 3 data terminal sites. Blue 4 and Green 4 are going to be defending it. Green 4 seems to be some sort of insurgent-based faction. Blue 4, I think, is a standing military, and Op 4 is also probably a standing military as well. Yep, I saw Falcon as independent as well. We'll go ahead and get to that when we actually push into the round. Oh, but otherwise... Sorting through everything. I hope people enjoyed the pickle jar video this morning as well. I thought that would be a great way to kick off today specifically. Well, you got to remember, though, you can't bundle Falcon with the rest of Scandi Recon anymore, though. He splintered off, and he's now become one of the best solo players in Friday Night Fights. really the top players that we're seeing time and time again is Stark, Bay, Falcon, a lot of members of Pepega. But otherwise, round has officially started. You're going to hear everyone transferring into the TFAR channel. Mr. Squid, thanks so much for the 12-month resub. I hope you keep enjoying the operations. Hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario.
We've been trying to get a hold of you because of your car's extended warranty.
You know, Bloodwing pulls jokes like that, too. She'll come up and randomly whisper in my ear and say, "We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty." So, yeah, you know, I'm not surprised with that one bit. Otherwise, looks like everyone is slowly initializing together. Awesome. Let's go ahead, get through our breathe, and let's begin round one. So this one was made by DJVN, one of the favorites I've seen recently coming up. He's been making a lot of missions for FNF. He's been doing really well in PvP. Definitely grown as a player, being one of Umzakov's original flock. But regardless on that, let's go ahead and take a read over all of this. So last week, Russian Spetsnaz forces took over multiple areas in the Eastern Peninsula. A little bit of translational issues, that's fine. Killing multiple large forces of the Hellenic army. So this is a continuation on the Greek campaign. I think they started back in NA. Regardless, last steps of the Russian forces to control the entire Eastern Peninsula. The main objective of the Russian forces is actually not to take over the town, but to find intel about the positions of high-ranking military personnel on in the area. So they can, in the future, eliminate them and weaken the army. After a long night of artillery fire on Greek positions, Russians are moving in for the attack. The Hellenic army is not the only obstacle to the Russian army. U.S. military was also called in response of Article 5 being in effect, as Greece is part of NATO. If Russian forces fail to find and destroy all 3 terminals, Greek forces will launch a counterattack. Mission rules Op 4 is clear to teleport as many squads as they want to through safe zones, so I'll get into that in a second. Otherwise, this is the game mode for an uplake terminal hack. Looks like it's only going to be a 60-second timer with 3 terminals in play. Mission variables only 850 meters of render distance, no magnified optics nor NVGs. Defender faction, which we'll have to look at who specifically has the defensive units in their AO. I'd imagine it's green 4, because I'd imagine the US being blue 4 are going to be off to the side. Oh, here's a yellow chain.
Let's give him a warm welcome, shall we?
And there's a bit of a false start there. Whew. Well, anyway, T-Flag, thanks for the 11-month resub. I hope you keep enjoying the operations. Hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. Is this the YouTube Liru? Yes. I was noticing a trail of disconnect. Everything seemed fine, and then all of a sudden everything shut off, so it's a little interesting to note. We'll probably get all kicked back in. We'll see how that happened. But anyway, Blue 4 kits appear to be M16A4s, M4A1s, as well as Glock 17s as a secondary weapon. We're going to get kicked off in about 50 seconds, but that is fine. M249s, 240 Bravos, excuse me, Golfs are under the support kits for machine gunners and light auto riflemen, excuse me, for Blue 4. M136s for the light anti-tank weapon. The sniper gets a choice of a 2010, and then a Mark 14 and a SOCOM 16 for the recon suppressed shooters. Basically, they're both the same platform. Crew and aviation get a choice between the MP7 and an M4A1. Nothing custom on the CSW. They do get a transport Black Hawk, which is double listed, 2 M2 Humvees, and then 2 transport trucks, and there's the connection lost. All right, let's see what's going on.
Everyone for himself.
All right, back up. So let's go ahead, cancel the prediction real quick. We'll get that reset in a second.
King of the Hill event.
There's only one team for Alpha, so we're Alpha.
All right, getting back in there real quick. I just want to figure out what is going here. So it looks like only my connection to the server was lost, which is fine. Server was just having a little bit of a heart attack. Yeah, saying I crashed. I know. Reconnecting to the server now. And we'll get right back into it. So just a few connection issues. Nothing to worry about. So I'm going to quickly reset everything up.
I think it'll be okay as long as we have a little, you know, maneuverability so that we can move if something goes bad or we're too bunched up. But
fine, as long as they don't come from the north.
Go ahead and set this up.
Well, will.
Who is it? I think it's Bravo and Charlie or something like that have BRDMs.
There you go. Restarting the
Or
prediction.
it might be Bravo Delta.
Delta's got BT.
I know 2.
So you got a bunch of people reconnecting, but let's carry off as if nothing happened there. We're going over Blue 4 weaponry. Again, their assets, 2 Humvees and an unarmed UH-60, which can be used for transport. Otherwise, Op 4, they're going to be rocking EMR, which is the standard we see for Russian forces within the faction used within Friday Night Fights. AK-74s, RPKs, PKPs, a T-5000 for the sniper. An AKS with a 45-round magazine, which I like to call the banana mag, or an AS-Val with a 20-round 9x39 mag. Those are for the 2 recon shooters. Aviation or crew get a choice of the PB-2000 submachine gun or an AKS. Nothing on crew-served weapons. Their assets include 2 BTR-80s, 2 BRDM-2s, 1 BRDM-UM, which is the command version with the PKT turret they have to turn out to utilize, 4 Kamaz trucks, and 4 Gaz Tiger transport cars. Green 4, meanwhile, if you couldn't tell, it's the Greek Modern Armed Forces Lizard camouflage. You see all of these pictures here. They indicate abbreviations for all of the different kits. And otherwise, loadouts are going to consist of a mix of 416s and L1A1s, as well as M2010s. Excuse me, I'm jumping ahead of myself. The sniper gets an M2010. Support gunner gets either an FN mag or a mini-me, depending on where they are. Their light anti-tank's going to be the M72 Law. And then the suppressed shooters for the recon team get a Mark 14 or an MP7 submachine gun, which will be suppressed. Crew and aviation also get MP7s or an HK416. Otherwise, their assets include 2 older style M2. Actually, no, they're newer style because they got the up armor over the M113 there. They have a single transport off-road and then an off-road HMG to also utilize. So that is all of the kits broken down. Looking over at the Op 4 forces here, we got Maz, ground commander. We were listening to
Your name. What vehicles
him making their brief right here. He's breaking down between his squads who gets what vehicle, which is quite nice. Grav is going to be his 2IC. Vagrant going to be that platoon level medic. Rory going to be leading the X-ray group. Ash going to be the 2IC. Stark taking the T-5000 sniper. They're already off to a new render zone. Spawn zone, which they can transport to. Dryden looks like he's going to be another rifleman there. And Tackleberry, I can't tell which weapon he has. He's in a vehicle, but he is going to be one of the suppressed shooters. So the Op 4 groups, they can either spawn up in the north or the south, and the AO in play is going to be around Charkia, specifically the storage depot and then the outskirts of the town. So it is going to be Green 4 defending, and then Blue 4 is going to be coming in as a reinforcement. It's an interesting breakdown of units in how that is all going. Otherwise, we have Jib Style leading Alpha HQ. Skipu and Giovanni are going to be taking a vehicle crew for one of the BTR-80s. Rico leading Alpha 2 with Green Thumb Shy, Spiky, Dingo, Olaf, and Autovisky with Rico. Malin, there's no Alpha 1. Interesting. So Bravo HQ is going to be led by Malin. Flying Fin and Arcor are going to be vehicle crew gunners. Looks like they are taking the BRDM UM with the PKT. That's the weakest vehicle out of the 5. Interesting choice. It's Bravo 1, led by Yanni with Iander, Nimia, Pertin, Infidel, Whiplash, and Nemesis. Basically a Scandi Recon group right there. One of the best communities within Friday Night Fights. Nafs leading Bravo 2 with Colas Gabian, Frost, Azariah, Katz, and Dobbs all together. I know Katz and Dobbs and Colas, they're from different communities, but we've been seeing them week after week working with Scandi Recon because they seem to show that same level of tactical aggression. Carmen Jarris. Looks like Charlie is all merged here. We got some interesting names. Barondo, Darth, Coulthers, Supreme Leader, Snovix, Bands. I know what they're doing. This is all Pepega Pirates members, and they've decided to go with some Star Wars themed meme names for April Fool's today. I like it. So this is all Pepega Pirates. So Scandi Recon and Pepega. Thanks, Bill. I'll see you in a few hours. Love you. So it's hard to tell who's who, but we do have Bay with their Gonk Fier. Okay, no, I got to go through all these. So Carmen Giroux, I actually don't know who that's a reference to. Brondo Calrissian, we can assume that one. Darth Shader. Supreme Leader Snovix is Novix. I know that. Bands. Gonk Fieri instead of Guy Fieri. Grand Moff Tarkane. So there's Kane. Quinlan Vonk. Oh my gosh. Legal Action is Legal Oregana. Mike Bing. Boba Flux, Eric, Hoodoo D2, Coda, who didn't participate, and Cake Gear 3B. I love it. I love it. Dream is not with us tonight. He apparently couldn't be asked. I love it. So we have Papega and Scandy, the two top communities with an FNF playing together. Doesn't always mean it's a solid guarantee that Op4 is going to win, but I appreciate the enthusiasm tonight. We got a new group, TF131. I think that's a play on Task Force 121 from Call of Duty. Abusive Uncle Andy. I do have an Uncle Andy that hits home. Mary Jade Sideway is also going to be with Kid Ade Money.
Send in Goat Team.
Oh my
6.
God, I love it. I can't tell all of them though, but that's awesome. All right. Let's go ahead and look over at Blue 4 real quick. Lolo's going to be, there is no Command, so Command is going to be part of Green 4. They've got Charlie and Delta as Blue 4, but I'm assuming Command, X-Ray, and Alpha and Bravo are Green 4. So let's actually skip down to Green 4. Green 4 is going to be led by Despo, with Timac as the 2IC, Miss Beard leading the defensive group, as I'm going to call them because it's Blue 4 and Green 4 together. DJ going to be a rifleman. Falcon rocking a suppressed MP7. He has a lot of contenders today, fighting both Scandy, Recon, and Papega. Let's see how well he does. Broken being the sniper. Hatkins being the Alpha 1 leader. I don't see an Alpha squad lead, so they've just... Okay, no, it's mainline all the way down there. But he is not going to merge the group, so Hatkins working as Alpha 1 lead. Confused Pupper, Nico, Lavid, Bees, and Like a Boss, or just Like Boss, I guess, under Alpha 1. Alpha 2 has Mattifine with Nick and Aim at the Stars. Interesting. We've got Bert leading with Gorvisky. I assume he's a vehicle crewman. Under Bravo HQ, it looks like Bravo 1 and Bravo 2 merged. We got Sanchez and Schneid leading basically a bunch of 1RW players. Pierce, Smith, Thomas, Aslan, Freeman, Azus, Suzuki, Potato, and Hunifer. Otherwise, going over up to Blue 4, since we have 4 minutes left, I can still cover this. Interesting. Interesting development. I've just glanced over some names. I'll get to it in a second. Lolo leading Charlie 1 with Seismo, Galil, Sam, Revanche, JY, Andre, and Reapers. That's a full TSB group. Nice to see my community represent. Tanaka from Coalition, who I'd argue is also one of the top communities that play in FNF, but we haven't seen them in a while. Bringing Topher, Heinrich, Battlebeeve, Hayez, Raccoon, and Nufflix in this operation. So I'll be curious to see what he does. He could be a good antithesis to the Scander Recon Papega group we have seen merge today. And then we got Norris also here with Korvac, Toli, Iqbal, Kiri, Skip, Taz, N1, Caffey, and Space. Norris, I mentioned him because he's a great player. And then Oddball, Seven, and Jack all loaded in the chopper already. That's kind of weird because I thought it was an unarmed chopper. Did they change it last second? No, they're just loaded in here prematurely as... that's weird. Like, why would you... I get having the co-pilot for the unarmed chopper. Why would you have a third person? I think they might intend to have this guy turn out with his gun and actually fire down as a rifleman, in which case they should give him a heavier gun, in my opinion. But maybe they're going to use that asset for scouting instead. That's a really weird use of that asset. But anyway, let's go ahead and look over the terminals. Altus, I mean, who doesn't know Altus that plays Arma? We've got the first compound being the small military compound within Charkia. It looks like the exact terminal position is in some of these added rusted military complex buildings, specifically in that corner. So fairly defensible, has some big open areas behind it. They've also put a bunch of Hescos to prevent any vehicle rushes. I like that. From the barracks buildings, you could actually have a pretty good lockdown of this open area, but you're going to have to capitalize on taking this ridge because this could allow a big spot for Op4 to walk up on you. Plus, if they were to come in from the town to your southwest, it's going to be really hard to defend that urban CQC environment. Terminal 3 is going to try to maintain that by being in the church itself right here. A classic position. You normally see the terminals in buildings like churches or other special ones in the AO because they're more easily defensible. But I'll get back to this one in a second. I do like the buildup of Rex right here. That's going to make it a little more interesting outside of that one terminal area. And then, of course, you have Terminal 2 in what appears to be an up-fortified building here. Nope, I am one off. It's this one. Now, this is quite interesting because I thought this was a ruined shed building, but they might have elevated it a little bit, maybe because they weren't happy with it, or this just might not even be a shed at all. But looking at the way the ground is right here, there definitely is a building. I could have sworn it was a wrecked one, but it might just have been a regular one. So they opened it up instead to make it a lot harder to do an internal defense of this structure. So the compound here itself is really well defendable, but I mean, that's going to be really tough for Green 4 and Blue 4 to defend either way. I mean, because you have to basically hunker down and defend Charkia. If you want to capitalize on the open areas, then you might thin out your actual urban defense. But because the terminal sites are kind of on the edge of the city instead of in the center, it makes it that much tougher for them to get away with all of that. So we already see X-Ray moving north here. Round officially began. Op4 starting to make their push into this territory. Blue 4 is going to be quick to respawn, but it looks like Green 4 is doing a very ambitious counterattack play. Despo going for broke here to try to stop what he is predicting Op4's main force to come in. But I think he's not making an accurate prediction. He's spreading his forces here because we're seeing Green 4 heading north and south along the 2 predicted MSRs that they might come in on. And so far he's been able to properly predict some of them, but nope, this force has diverted south. He's going for broke on the southern side. Interesting. Noah, thanks for the 26-month resub. I hope you keep enjoying the operations, and I do hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. Now, I'm going to go ahead and write everything up. There we go. Just setting up my highlights for later. Autovisky didn't reach the network speeds. That's unfortunate. Now, Green 4 setting up. It looks like they're actually going to these hilltop positions with a squad each. They're going to try to set up blocking forces to engage any Op4 forces that are coming along from the south. That could pay off for them, but it looks like the Op4 convoy is now diverting to the right and might try to go around on the northern side and possibly circumvent any of these positions. One important thing to quickly note, though, is we have Alpha 1 coming up to this hilltop, but these gases are going to be a lot quicker, and there's Stark. I didn't notice Stark. He's, okay, yeah, no, he was the sniper. But again, another really good player to consider. Put a smile on my face today before we have our fun. Hey, Liru, I'm in talks with a small community for SG1s versus furries. If you get that to go, let me know what time. I will clear my schedule to play that, unless I have something critical. But here we go, Op4 and Green 4 coming up together. They haven't even noticed each other yet. So we just saw 2 people go down, a third, 2 Green 4 to 1 Op4.
Hello.
And now you're hearing the voices of the dead, so I gotta quickly tab out to adjust that. My apologies. I gotta mute myself when I'm in the TFAR channel. But yeah, Green 4 went up here and ran into pretty much an entire squad of Op4 that are trying to take that hill. Meanwhile, Op4, as I figured, they are trying to circumvent this AO, running the border here. Real quick, does Green 4 see these vehicles coming around? I can't tell if they do or not. We don't see that 50 cal firing, but Op4 taking a squad to try to take this hill. I'd imagine this is where Op4 is going to make their move. They're going to bring their vehicles all the way around and attack from this one angle. This squad was sent ahead to check if Green 4 had a heavy amount of defensive forces here, so these guys could then tell that convoy to pull off to then attack from a different angle. That's why we didn't see them all start from the top, because it clearly says that Op4 is clear to teleport as many squads as they want through the safe zones, so they all could have come from the north if they wanted to. So this is them kind of hedging their bets to see where a weakness in the defensive lines are, and now they're going to start trying to exploit it. We do have a 4-man team coming up with another off-road here, as the rest of Green 4 is desperately trying to pull back. They've got a few guys coming up on their flank as they're being shot in the rear, trying to maximize on this defilade cover. Hey, Mod, I'm going to put something in the moderator channel during the break, and I'll give it a PSA to all mods. But anyway, we'll we'll get there when we get there. Sorry, random thoughts going through my mind. But you have the UH-60. Again, it's unarmed, going overhead, but it has someone in a freaking spot to shoot outside of it, which I find interesting. But now we've got Op4 They're starting to set up a staged attack right here. We've got the 2 BTRs, the 3 BRDMs. Again, it's 2 BRDM-2s, 2 BTR-80s, and a BRDM-UM, which just has the PKT meant to be a command vehicle, which I believe is that one right there. You can tell because that top symbol is slightly different than these two, which dictate there's a turret up top. So what could be interesting here is Green 4 has 2 squads out of position. They haven't noticed this massive Op 4 push coming. Not yet, at least, but they could potentially move into the valley and flank, but there's not a lot of cover down here. If Op 4 is able to maintain control of this ridge, they could potentially get some nice long-range strikes into this AO, but, I mean, Blue 4 has now started fully deploying. Sector 2 doesn't have any defenses on it. My fear here is that Op 4 is going to be able to get into here and utilize this position to start scouting and having a bit of an extended firefight between this open area to get into the other sectors. But so far, Green 4 has been very spread out and slowly getting picked off in multiple directions. It might make it tougher for the defenders to actually hold because of how cohesive Op 4 is being here in their attack. And by deploying on one angle with all of their vehicle support close by, it's going to be really tough to beat this because they're at an elevated position. They've got open areas all around them. It's going to be really difficult for the defenders to try to encircle this position. But the original firefight that started already is putting Green 4 on the run. They've lost, you know, a significant chunk of their forces already in the form of one fire team and part of their X-ray group, and they just got picked off immediately by Shy and Green Thumb there. I don't know how this is going to acquiesce. Yeah, hi, DJ. You were in the Green 4 group that got immediately smacked right there, right? Take a look at the unit deployments here, because I know this is your mission. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on how this is playing out so far and whether or not this was what you came up with when everything happened. You got shot by Spiky? Please don't tell me it was a friendly fire then. So we have had Dryden go down under Op 4, but he was that first casualty that happened. I'm curious now. Falcon running around within the compound. He could do some really good CQC with that MP7, but even he might meet his match because he has a lot of good players here that he's going to end up fighting. Attackers edged out with a 57% majority at best. I'd say based off of the troops we saw on both sides, I'm not surprised. Altis itself, and when you also look at this AO, it's a very open one. Now, if the terminals were in a bit more of a defensive position, like terminal, I believe that was 3, yep. If it was more in the center of the map, I could have seen Blue 4 and Green 4 just defending the town outright, but it's on the edge. So it makes it a lot tougher for Blue 4 and Green 4 to properly mount a defense here. There's a freaking video on YouTube of me opening the pickle jar. All right, it's there. It's done. It's all set. But I digress from the April Fool's jokes. We got Blue 4 basically now checking this entire area out. We have the I really like this, though. We have a BRDM to the south. We have a BTR to the north. All supporting each other. The UM's been dismounted. There's a BRDM on the rear of the infantry formation, and the second BTR is now joining its sister in the valley to maximize coverage of these open zones. This is actually a really, really good vehicle formation because they're diversifying their vehicle assets in positions where they can not only support the infantry, but cover the infantry's flanks, but also where they're the most vulnerable, they're in positions to potentially support each other. And this is probably the riskiest part of the formation because these guys are off on their own. I'd be curious if these 3 Blue 4 guys have any form of AT. They do have a Maz. Korvac is in striking position of these 2 BTRs. He could potentially eliminate one, if not both. Especially since this BTR is going to come right up to this spot. Can the gunner spot him in time? No. There's the first BTR flamed out. It pushed way ahead, but now this BTR is going to start engaging this open area. So that was a great counter by Korvac's small team there, but we are going to have to see Blue 4 and Green 4 start playing these small guerrilla tactics like these to start whittling down on Op 4's assets. We saw another AT round go in, but the BTR is pulling back, knowing that if it stays static, it's a much easier target as they're trying to suppress Korvac with that PKT, which they got 250 rounds for. They really want to be using that KPTV 50 round box. That was an HE round that went by. All right, real quick. Map settings. Blue 4 have a single HE round, 2 AT rounds. Everyone has either 2 or 3 AT rounds and 1 HE. Interesting. So a little bit of HE rounds to work with. HE rounds hitting this formation as it went in would actually be devastating for Blue 4 and Green 4 to utilize. Maybe in the CQC sense, we'll also see that utilized as well. But now we need to see if Blue 4 and Green 4 can adapt to doing some really good guerrilla warfare style tactics like that one, utilizing small teams of infantry to take out either vehicle assets or big groups of infantry coming in to try to not just trade evenly, but trade in an advantageous position for Blue 4 and Green 4 to whittle down Op4's number advantage and hopefully at least hold one of the terminals by the end. With Op4 attacking from this direction, their main focus is going to be Terminal 2. We do have players like Falcon in here that are really good with CQC, but we also have Pepega and Scandia Recon leading the charge here for Op4. I really can't tell you which way this is going to go. Normally we'd have a few different scenarios of I could tell you that the defenders are probably going to hold based off of who's there. But no, this is kind of leaning in Op4's favor in my opinion. I mean, if you remember how well Maz did in round 3 of NA last week and how he's commanding, I mean, it's devastating. One of the chances I do see here, and we're actually starting to see it, those two groups that were to the south for Green 4 coming around and trying to engage the rear of Op4's line is a great call, but look at how maneuverable Op4 is being. Literally, all of their forces are moving quickly past this ridge, and these vehicles are going to have to charge very close to be effective. But how much damage can they do before Op4 turns around and starts trying to deal with them? But maybe that might just be all of what Op4 needs to get broken apart and be in positions where they can't support each other to allow the defenders to go. But my fear right now is look at where Op4's already, Green 4's already dismounting. They're dismounting way off from where they need to be dismounted. They need to be getting a lot closer. And this is just going to allow Op4 to keep their cohesion when they push in and just absolutely swarm the Terminal 2 site. So we just have to see how well the defenders are with their PvP here. It could really go either way, but I mean, with such a significant Op4 number advantage, but look at that, Scandia leading the charge with some Pepega players mixed in, taking the rear of this formation. But I mean, some of the best players, if not most of the best players, are in this formation for Friday Night Fights. Now, I do appreciate that we do have the M2 Humvee right here. It's using iron sights, trying to do a general suppression of that smoke. We're seeing some grenades getting thrown back and forth here. Infidel taking a pretty good amount of shrapnel. UH-60 didn't lose its engine. I heard a metallic hit to indicate that it got struck by some sort of small round. Probably a 12.7, or excuse me, 14.5 millimeter from the BRDM or something, but it wasn't a significant hit to knock the engine out. Meanwhile, you see the other BTR gets hits. This rear attack has been noticed, but they are way out of position. This Op4 force is going to probably be bait now to not only delay that force, but take out this group. But that's not going to stop the main force from doing their sweep. So eventually, these guys are going to come around and hit the rear of this Op4 line, but I think Op4 is going to be able to get their foot in the door before that happens. All right, we got Nick in the high position here. Gonk Fieri knows that there is sometimes a player up in this area. Nick, though, with the 240 Bravo. Cake here comes in. Gets taken out, but Kiadi is able to take him out. Going prone up, there's a bit of a death sentence because you're basically resting your head right there. Infidel looks like he took more shrapnel damage, got knocked out. Falcon's going to stay in the barracks building, awaiting people to come in. Navik's getting the kill right there. Tarkin, I love the play off of that name. I mean, Falcon is fighting one of the best in a 1v1 right now. And he has a suppressed MP7, so he does have the firepower to do it compared to the 74. But Keen always aims for the center mass or the head when he has the opportunity. But look at this Op4 swarm. Green 4 literally cut down very quickly. Falcon is one of the last hopes here, but again, some of the best players like him, I don't see it. I'd argue Falcon is one of the best, but so is King. And there's Hack 2 started. Green 4 doing a great job trying to maneuver up, but we're already having the BRDM turning around. Falcon tries to put some shots down. Keen immediately shuts the door. He knows he's fighting someone that knows what the fuck they're doing. Falcon immediately trying to run around the flank, exposing himself. Bit off a bit more than he could chew, and Keen was able to turn around and execute him. So, again, Falcon really great at doing those maneuver plays, but when he's literally surrounded, you can't make a maneuver like that. Especially against the two top communities with an FNF. So that played out as much as I expected it to, because he either could try to maneuver around but then run into the swarm, or he could try a one-on-one direct confrontation with King, in which case it's anyone's guess on who's going to win that. But as soon as King goes down, Novix would have come up and probably tapped Falcon before he could get away. But look at the firepower coming up to this off-road. It is disabled at this point. You see that gun rust right there? That indicates the gun itself is also disabled, so they can't turn it anymore. And you got Despo, Green 4 Command, and Overall Defense Command back here. His 2IC is dead, but once he falls, you're going to see a little bit of a breakdown in cohesion as squads now fend for themselves. But look at the remaining numbers we're seeing on Op 4 compared to Green 4 and Blue 4. Really, it's going to be now up to Blue 4 to hold its defensive line. There goes Terminal 2. And I'm going to be curious to see if anyone actually picked up Falcon's gun, because that suppressed MP7 might be a good call here, but they are not. They're going to stick with what they got. Now, I do appreciate the remount right here that we've seen. We got someone with an LR, though, that might be able to transmit where these Vics are going, but usually at this point, comms have heavily broken down. But Maz is still alive, commanding on the back line in a gas, so we might be able to still coordinate his forces here. What we might also see, though, is Green 4 is going to, instead of trying to flank the enemy, they're going to get into the terminal sites themselves and just hold with the defense, in which case, if there's not going to be any creative plays the defenders are going to try to pull anymore, I think this is going to be an Op 4 victory. I would give it 15 to 20 minutes tops, in all honesty. This has been a very brutal first round, but I don't know, it feels like a little too much for the defenders to have been able to handle, and it gave way too much room for Op 4 to attack in, and then you gave Op 4 some of the most powerful groups that can capitalize on this scenario. I'm not surprised one bit. There goes Despo, excuse me. Green 4 Command having a great last stand. We just saw GL go on that Vic and take it out, but look, he's being engaged from 3 separate directions. Literal enfilading fire going in over his position. It was only a matter of time, let's be honest. Absolutely brutal. So Op 4, as I predicted, after they take this position, they're forming a little bit of a line here. They're trying to look in and pick off what they can. We see another vehicle on fire here. That is one of the Blue 4 M2 Humvees that was just taken out. Now look at this, though. This group that was over here, they are getting flanked. I think that's a lot of 50 cal fire coming up from one of the M2s. Nope, that's actually a Zuki getting some good licks in. Hoonier there has already gotten a kill, but they are doing their best to pick off what they can, because these TF-131 guys have not identified where they're being shot at from. They think they're being shot at from the west, so they're taking cover from there, but this beautiful flank by this Green 4 force cutting them down. And I guess the shots are too loud and they're just not able to hear it. So this force has been bitten off. The one thing I'm fearful, though, is this Charlie HQ BRDM driven by Bay, already up 2 kills as the gunner. Who is his driver? Excuse me, I said driven. Gunned by Bay, driven by Corthers here. They're going to get right behind these 113s and tear them the hell apart. Maybe even behind the infantry, but they do have a bit of a thick line of elephant grass there, so I doubt it. So this is probably going to stop this counter. You got Korvac running around back here with the Moz. Is he actually going to run right into the BRDM? He does, but he's immediately spotted. Shot in the back multiple times. Still exposed. As we have Green 4 now turning around, spotted. Korvac getting 2 kills. Bay getting 2 kills. Korvac getting taken out there as well. Bay up to 4 kills now. And now Green 4, I'm not sure if they have any AT to turn around and take this apart. We're seeing some blind suppression from that BRDM. 113 is now turning around. We're going to see him switch to that 14.5 to penetrate into the 113. But this is what Bay excels at when he's in a vehicle. 6 kills now for Bay. Oh, a yellow chain. That is not good. We had Op 4 starting to charge in here. Now, here's my question. Did I just crash out? or is the round still going? Can someone tell me off of the multi there if it's still going? Just me? Interesting. All right. Well, this is something new. Let me go ahead, abort from the server. We'll get right back in. Technical difficulties, you know, it happens. And we'll jump right back on. Ooh. So it appears that there might be something wrong with my internet. Because now I'm not getting any connections to Arma 3 servers. Neat. April Fool's joke special for me, yeah, right? Checking again. Yep, so I just had to refresh the program, and I can get right back in. It's malware. Ha! Yeah, no, because normally when I'm having internet connections, the stream also suffers because I get dropped frames. So I have noticed there's been a few disconnects, so I'm wondering if the server's set up in a way to immediately sever people's connections if certain things are going wrong, which would make sense. But here, we'll get right back into it. My apologies for that little glitch there. We'll check right back up on Bay as we get right back into it. So we're immediately brought over to Maz's position. Op4 have moved into the town, moving into the thicker parts where they'd imagine they wouldn't find any defenders because the defenders would probably be around Terminal 3 and 1. We have Blue 4 putting out a really nice defensive line away here. We see some GLs going off. Looking back over here, oh my god. Isn't that something? So one of the 113s got away. The other one was taken out. What is Bay's kill count? They've had to change some wheels because I think that 50 cal turned around, but 9 kills for Bay. Holy crap. So that 113 came around. An explosive satchel was detonated in this town. Looks like these guys were in the other building, though. But that was a great play. We got a flame out on one of the 113s. And we just look at this battle line of Op4 forces just sweeping through. Eric about to spot Terminal 1. He's got these guys over here also coming around. Ay, ay, ay. Op4 coming around as well. There's Terminal 1 started. We do have a few Blue 4 and Green 4 around, but we're going to have... I think that's Arma Jesus. That's yeah, Arma, and then it's just the Star Wars name around that. I think they know there's Op4 in here though. You got Bonk coming around. UH-60 took some more damage, but nothing critical. Again, you got Op4 slowly breaching around. Blue 4 trying to pick off what they can from various sides here. That 240 defending. We do have Jack and Seven trying to come around to potentially stop the hack. That's in 20 seconds, though. I don't think they're going to make it in time. You got Skip that's come down here. Wounds Conk, Arma Jesus trying to come around to stop him, but it's not enough. He quickly goes around. Arma Jesus then jumps around, trying to catch Skip out of position, ends up running in, shooting early. That only aggroes Skip, and they trade. There's the hack finished as Jack and Seven were getting around. Eric's going to be able to break away from right there. And there's the explosion. Terminal 3, I mean, Blue 4, they're doing a really fierce defense here. I gotta give them that, but, I mean, look at this. TSB and Scandy fighting. Lolo going down in his 1v1 against Azariah. Oh, my God. Bay and Coulthers are out of commission, but, I mean, they destroyed a group of infantry that could have come in to reinforce last second. Azariah going down from his wounds. Still have a few Blue 4 defenders remaining, but we also have this group coming around on the side to get to Terminal 3. I mean, it's just, it's a mess. There is all of Green 4 taken out officially. Sam taken out by Yanni Finn in that CQC. Norris is down. I mean, it's just a slaughter. As to be expected, though. All of Green 4 dead right there. Blue 4 down to about I want to say 2 full squads worth across 3 different groups. That helicopter, by the way, is only down to the pilot, the co-pilot, and I would assume the gunner have all been taken out. Nope, they left the helicopter. Okay, so they were brought to the ground only to be cut down here. We see this last scrambling defense by Blue 4 in multiple different positions, but... oh, man. Yeah, Falcon, have fun on your vacation, man. It's just cleanup at this point. And then when this force comes in to flank, because this, if it was just down this, I'd say Blue 4 would have a solid chance, but there's so much more Op 4 around in so many different positions that I don't see Blue 4 holding out for another 10 minutes. As soon as Op 4 gets this flank to come around and start harassing that side, this flank comes around to harass the other side, it's going to be over. Taz trading with one of the Op 4 guys up here. Taffy and Hoodoo D2 going at it, but Hoodoo was able to win that fight. It's going to be a desperate defense. I would really love to see Blue 4 counter here. Seismo getting a great flank on one of the Op 4 guys on the rear, takes him off that 249. He could be the catalyst. The one barrier he's going to have is this BRDM covering this infantry flank from the western side. Dobbs is a medic. He could get Azariah back up. Nemesis also a medic. And you got some Blue 4 on the outskirts right here. Looking over, these guys are checking out this 113. They got a Maz, and they're firing AT over at the Blackhawk. Got some smokes going in, though. Op 4 sending their first force. Now, Op 4's got to be really careful that they don't accidentally defeat themselves in detail by only sending one attack at a time and giving Blue 4 a chance to recover after defeating those attacks individually. If Op 4 just swarm the entire AO at the same time, they have a solid chance of winning, if not a near perfect one. But the smoke, I think Dingo's utilizing that. He's trying to get above. He could get on the rooftop of this building and start plinking at Blue 4 that he sees that are exposed. Spiky gonna climb the wall, get right behind Spiky! 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 Spiky, you hear those gunshots! Spiky has a really bad computer, but oh my god. Oh. Spiky! And then Dingo just fell. And now he's gonna hide in the damn smoke. Oh, that's funny. That's pretty damn funny. We're spoiled because we have a bird's eye view of everything, but Fog of War is a real bitch sometimes. The really good PvPers can identify all types of gunshots, know what guns they come from. What is this helicopter doing? Did Oddball just... he just ran himself over with his own helicopter. Amazing. He bailed out of the helicopter and got run over by it. Hack has started. Blue 4's got to go in there to stop it. But this could be the end. I'm waiting to see what Tanaka pulls. He's going to have to go in and fight Yanni. Yanni not looking in the right direction. Immediately shot on the rear. Yanni, what are you thinking? Battle Beef and Tanaka coming in to stop the hack at 35 seconds remaining. Great defensive play. It's at 30 seconds. Tanaka, I think, trying to find the proper interaction. The hack is not stopping. Tanaka does not seem able to stop the hack. What is going on? Battlebeat taking his 134 out. Tanaka, I can only assume it's glitched. Tanaka now coming out, going to Glaze of Glory, gets Cats out. I just saw a rope fly out. I don't know what that was about, but that's the round over. The action got removed, so what, Blue 4 can't stop the hack anymore? Because I've never seen that, and if that was a thing, I'd imagine it would be added to the game mode settings. Oh, well, we'll see it in debug later, but I mean, that would have only delayed the inevitable. There are only a few Blue 4 left, and there were still about 20 or 30 Op 4 guys remaining. Even so, that was pretty brutal. Oh. Wait, no. No. What was that? No, that looked dope. That was like a perfect April Fool's thing. Wait, go back to that. No. Round 2. Round 2, Zarkabad Drift. Yeah. Yeah. Wait a minute. Go back to that real quick. Come on. All right. Well, we'll start the first intermission. So we're going to go ahead and start everything up here. Go back into my caster couch. Play a few ads, and let's go ahead and transition to the next round. Interesting. Twitch is saying my bitrate is unstable. So that means there's some weird network fluctuations happening right now. Odd. Very odd. All right, well, let's go ahead and hit the prediction here. Choose outcome. That was an OP4 victory. There we go. We'll be ready to go in a little bit. Otherwise, let's cancel that out. Go ahead. Multi is fine. Do I have any new things on the multi? I'm being poked by a few guys. Matt is telling me how he weaponized Scandy and Pepega Pirates for that aggressive play. I am not surprised one bit. All right, let's go ahead and look at round 2. Round 2 is going to be Serani. All right, mission. This is round 2. Let's see what we got today. Hop 4 and Blue 4. Blue 4 is attacking with a 10% numbers advantage. Blue 4. Okay. It's a rush attack, though. 3 OP4 objectives. Rush could mean a terminal rush or a sector control rush, which means the terminals or the sectors have to be taken in a specific order. So, Blue 4 is a 10% numbers advantage. Three Land Rover HMGs, 3 armed speedboats, and 2 UH-60s. Whoa. That's a lot. All right. 1 second. 3 Land Rover HMGs, 2 UH-60s, and 3... Well, OP4 has... This is going to be a British one, because Land Rovers are generally a British Vic. OP4 has 2 BTR-80s, 2 Dishkas. Oh my god. Oh, that's disgusting. Hold on. Okay. Has 2 BTR-80s, 2 Dishka statics, of PKT Vodnik.
6 now.
A PKT Gaz.
Send in Goat Team 6 now.
A Cord static.
Send in Goat Team 6 now.
An MP.
Send in Goat Team 6 now.
That is a lot for the defenders to get. Normally the attackers would have that level of an arsenal, but that is just... Wow. Wow. All right. JY, thanks for the 33-month resub. And Eagle, thanks for the 5 gift subs. If you got a gift sub from Eagle, make sure you thank him. Otherwise, I hope you all keep enjoying the operations. And I do hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. New prediction will go up when we get into the mission itself. I will BRB 1 second. All right. Just want to refill my water glass, do a quick diagnostic on the network by going up to the router. I'm just making sure all the lights were on properly, because routers, you know, if they have a red light instead of a green light, then you know something's wrong, right? Let me see. Right, I wanted to drop something real quick in my mod channel, and obviously my Discord has the face of frickin' Liru in it, which is hilarious. All right. 1 second. All right, cool. Sorry, just had to put a little PSA out to Twitch mods. But otherwise, yeah, we're down to 115, so let me go ahead and reflect that. We'll just do that. I always like to be truthful about the numbers in the title. But regardless, actually, we just jumped to 118, so let me just check the roster number here. We are still at 120. All right, never mind. We'll see how Misa excited. I love how I absolutely love that Papega did that level of a joke. I love it. Love the pickle vid I uploaded. I mean, it's April 1st. You guys gave me a good opportunity and I took it. So my schedule today is I'll be covering the EU branch. Then I have an IRL thing to go do. Dinner with the in-laws. I try to keep a straight face. And then we'll come back. I will revert the changes on Discord. And then we'll do some DayZ troll streaming. Probably on the that one public server. Just because it's fun. The details are buried in the DayZ channel, but I'll get them to anyone who DMs me about them. And we'll look for another pickle jar, because that is what we need, right? We need more of those damn pickles. It's your birthday today, so your life is a joke. My my old best friend used to have a birthday on the 1st of April. We always made those types of jokes about him. He's somewhere up in Boston these days. Haven't talked to him in a few years. People drift apart, come together, just roads of life all intersecting. But regardless, that's enough of that. Again, I'm going to comment about how crazy this is that they're having literally like 3 Land Rovers and 2 helicopters versus just a shit ton of ground fire assets. Granted, I think the only thing that can really challenge those helicopters properly are any 12.7 or 14.5 millimeter PKTs can get a lucky hit, but I mean it's 3 statics and then 2 BTRs. That's crazy. Pickle squid, good God. I'm gonna be honest, like right off the bat, I'm gonna give the advantage to the defenders, or excuse me, the OPFOR, which are defending. So I'm gonna have to see some aces on the UH-60 crews, because if they don't know what they're doing, I think this is gonna falter real quick, because this op seems to really favor that helicopter support. Definitely. It's just an emotional support pickle jar. Oh my god. Sorry, just dealing with everything. All right, well then, let's see. We're gonna listen to the next branch here. So again, when we all get pushed through, we're going to hear everyone. Let me go ahead and put the prediction up. It is Op4 defending this time. This is round 2 EU, so we're gonna go ahead and adjust our numbers here. We'll set it to 20 minutes. And there we go. One last thing I'm going to real quickly check is just a small network diagnostic I ran on the background. Huh, weird. They're saying, yeah, so that's why it's saying it's unstable. Twitch is saying it's unstable because the average bitrate stream is too high, but it's like 5,800. But the max for Twitch is 6,000, which is 6,000. So I don't know why they're saying it's unstable when that's the norm. So it just might be it's a false positive for Twitch itself, but it doesn't explain the random disconnects within FNF. So I'll ask them about it later, but you know, could be worse. But anyway, let's go ahead and break the mission brief down here. I am going to actually go ahead. Let's change the music to something a little bit more action-packed here. There we go. Let's go ahead and change that on the music command.
So who are we attaching to?
All right, briefing. Large group of Czech soldiers stationed to the Huron region have deserted the army.
I got that.
The nearby Dutch have been tasked with eliminating them. All right, short and sweet brief. I like it.
Let's give him a warm
All right,
welcome.
large open and small areas, forests made by Despo. All right, game mode is going to be a rush terminal attack, which means the terminals have to be done in order. It's a 90-second hack as well. All right, mission variables, 1,250 for the max render distance, so that's usually the highest we see it at for some of these missions. No magnified optics, no NVG equipment, 125 points for the builder defenders, which is the standard. So the defected forces are the ones leaving. Blue 4 are going to get Maz's, Op 4 gets Smaz. Interesting. Both are pretty powerful AT weaponry. I wonder if the Smaz have their spotting rounds, though, the 9mm tracer rounds to guide where the round goes.
Oh, you're so low. Hold on.
All right. Let's go ahead and scroll out a little bit so we don't hear them. Op 4. We're going to go ahead with. So let me also do the breakdown here. Op 4 is going to be Czech woodland camouflage. Here is how all of these forces, what all the symbolism means. So we got platoon leader, which is ground command, platoon sergeant, squad leaders, team leaders, assault auto riflemen. I always say assault. Auto riflemen, which are the light machine gunners, the LMGs. Auto riflemen assistants, which have the extra ammo form. Grenadiers, grenadier IR, which is means they have hunt IR rounds, which are little 40mm grenade rounds that you can fire in the air, detonate in the air, and they turn into a little camera with a parachute. And that camera can be controlled by a terminal that the shooter fires and basically used as a little eye in the sky. It has regular camera mode and a night vision camera mode, no thermals, and there go the Czech jokes. Good God. But they're not in every squad. They're only in certain groups. Machine gunner for the medium machine gun, the MMG, and then his assistant. Combat engineers, so the guys that can do explosives, either mines, satchels, or charges. Light anti-tank gunner, we see that recorded under the roster. Medium anti-tank gunner 1 and medium anti-tank gunner 2. That's why you see 2 different ones here, because sometimes they might replace the second one with a different type of AT weapon, such as a heavy piece of AT that fires missiles, or that has AA capability. And then the assistant. The recon infantry, so what the squads have, I love how they're doing the desync jumps back and forth down there. The recon infantry sniper, the designated marksman per squad, which by the way, it looks like Op4 is going to be an SVD because that's not on the loadout. We have to look at it by the uniform in this loadout. The sniper, which we'll get to that in a second. Crewman lead, crewman, pilots, medicals, and the base kit. All right. So our Op4 guys are going to be mainly rocking SA-58s and HK-416s for a Grenadier weapon, because the SA-58s don't have a GP-25 system for their Grenadier weaponry. We've got a Mini-Me for the light machine gun, and FN Mag for the medium machine gun, M72 for M72 Law for the light anti-tank weapon, the LAT. Recon Sniper is going to get the T5000. Suppress Shooter is going to get a choice between the Mark 14 or an AS Val. So 2 20-round magazines, one with a 7.62x51 NATO, the other with a 9x39 millimeter. So that's an interesting choice. And then Crew and Aviation, I get the Scorpion or the HK-416. Interesting, interesting. Otherwise, Op4's assets, 2 unarmed Vodniks, 1 MT-LB with 100-round boxes for a PKT, 7.62x54 machine gun. 20 boxes of that, though. That's a lot of ammo. Transport gas, 2 static Dishkas with only 5 boxes of 50 rounds, so they don't actually last a lot in a sustained firefight. They're meant for kind of like a last-second defense, in my opinion. 2 BTR-80s with a good amount of munitions for all of that. Accord static, same amount of ammo and same ammo type as the Dishka, just a different look, I would say. We have a PKT Vodnik, but it has 2 PKTs, 1 on the front, 1 on the back, 6 magazines of 100 per gun, and then a Gaz with a PKT up top. Technically, it also has an AGS, but the AGS is always on script. That has to be a mistake. No, that has to be a mistake, because they never would put a GMG in FNF. They are very, very rarely also putting autocannons in FNF, but I did notice last week they reported that on this roster page that they did have an autocannon, but it actually didn't, so that was just a roster glitch. So overall, pretty good roster right there. Go ahead and looking at our players for the defense. Vagrant is going to be commanding with Maz as the 2IC. Maz was the winner of the first round, so that does give him a good advantage. Hey, DJ, how are you doing? How was the previous round, my friend? Hyzia leading X-Ray, Battlebeeve as the medic, Dryden as the sniper, Wheaton as the 2IC, and then Coulthers and Stark being the suppressed shooter. Coulthers taking a suppressed Mark 14, Stark taking the AS Val. Interesting choice, but
Team 1. Team 2, you get the unarmed one, okay?
You hear them speaking amongst themselves there. Norris leading Alpha HQ. He's decided to keep the 2 teams separate. Taz leading Alpha 1 with Iqbal, Skip, Space, and Kaffee. Ash leading the second team with Tackleberry, Heinrich, Rory, and Eric. Azarida leading Bravo HQ. He's got Finn and Arcor as vehicle crewmen. He is opting to keep Bravo 1 and 2 separate. Nemesis leading Yanni, Whiplash, Nimia, N1, Frost, and Malin. Again, Scandy was instrumental in the last round. Let's see what they do this round. Nafs leading Bravo 2 with Cullis, Purton, Iander, Dobbs, Katz, and Gabian together. TF131, I'll go through their names this time. Tantal.
I'm a little disappointed they didn't have a special mod set for April 1st. Maybe FNF.
Natty, I'll get to that after I break things down. But thanks for the 19-month resub. I hope you keep enjoying the operations. I do hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. You're mad about getting spiky, so mad you went to bed. I'm sorry to hear that, DJ. Hope everything goes well for the rest of your Friday. Lath leading Charlie 1 with Debo, Doc, Nick, Mattifine, Reduced XP, and Gobovic. Charlie 2 being led by Hamstered. I'm sorry, that's so silly. Jammin, Broken, and Catnip. Tanaka, Topher, and Raccoon being Gamma 1, which means they're a dedicated vehicle crew, probably for the BTRs. And then Gamma 2 being Despo and Timac taking the other BTR, I would at least assume. Pretty good roster there. This means Pepega's going to be on the other side. We'll look at the AO in a second. I'll give my final thoughts, but pretty powerful. They do have Scandy. They do have Norris. They do have Stark. But we'll just have to see how that all goes. And then, you know, Vagrant, Maz, 2 of the best commanders with an FNF, in my opinion. Otherwise, Blue 4 starting with a bit of a naval attack here. Let's go ahead and break them down. Grab some water. Uniform's going to be the Dutch Army kits. So Mitch helmets, one of the Gref vests. Interesting. But a mix of M16A3s and M4s, Glock 17s. Basically mostly US stuff, except the machine guns are different. They have a Mini-Me and an FN Mag, which are basically a 249 and 240 Bravo clone for other factions to utilize. M72 Law is the light anti-tank weapon. M24, which is, I believe, a bolt-action sniper rifle for the Recon Sniper, and then the 2 suppressed shooters get a choice of the Mark 14 or the MP7, and then the MP7 and the Mark M4 with a carry handle are given to the crew and aviation kits. Nothing on crew served weapons, statics, vehicle choice. We have 6 Land Rovers that are closed, 3 Land Rover HMGs. This also has the PKT that fires from the front. These are the special ones that have that additional gun. So a lot of weaponry on that. 2 UH-60s, each with 1,800 rounds on either side. Interesting. And then a lot of different types of speedboat minigun. I think they've changed it out this way just so they can have the difference of machine guns. So some have a rear minigun M134 system, and some have a rear 50 cal. Actually, no, they all appear to be the minigun variant. Interesting that they're listed differently, but I'd imagine the front gun... Yeah, no. So here's one of them with the rear 50 cal there. But it looks like they're all opting for the 134 systems instead. I'd imagine the front gun only fires either a 50 cal or a 134 because they changed out the GMG. Because again, this community doesn't really do that. But otherwise, a good breakdown here. Looking over at command, we got Kiri commanding. Who does it on and off. I wouldn't say is the best, but can come up with some really good strategies. At least they're not someone like Pierce that comes up with some really weird strategies sometimes. No offense to Pierce, but they often do not work. Sam leading X-Ray, Andre on one of the helicopters ready, Lolo being the sniper, Galil being one of the 2 IC members of the group, Seismo and Reapers both going for a Mark 14 suppressed. All right. Hatkins leading Alpha HQ. He's got Dingo leading Alpha 1 with Ola, Spike ERP, Revanche, and Green Thumb together. Mineline leading Alpha 2 with Nico, Lavid, Confused Pupper, Bees, and Lake Boss together. Seven leading Bravo HQ. You're hearing these guys loading into the chopper, which is kind of cute. Seven leading Bravo HQ, opting to keep the squad separate. Jonathan Aim with the Stars, Steve, Kabui, McCarth, and Raven together. Bravo 2 being led by Oddball with Broken, Mispir, Offie, Jack, and Autovisky together. You've got Pepega all here. They've all merged the groups together. So we have Mara Jade Sidewalker. Good God. Hoodoo 2. I don't know who Hoodoo D2 is, actually. If you guys know, let me know. But we got Vonk as Quillen Vonk, Legal Organa as Legal Action, Kid Aid Money as I actually don't know either. Gonk Fury is Guy Fury, Bubba Flux is Flux, Mike Binks. I don't know. Brondo Calrissian. I'm just blanking on the names. Karma Zerus is Armagesus. Darth Shader is Shade. Grand Moff Heart Kane is Kane, obviously. Cake Gear 3PO is Cake. Cake Gear. Supreme Leader Snovix is Novix. And then you got Coda, who didn't participate with Bane. And Flux. Excuse me. Falcon also together. That is a very powerful team right there. Probably the best one of the night altogether, with, you know, 2 really good individual players with the best PvP community, I'd say, for CQC. I'll have to get into that in a second as well, because Scandi excels in one method and Pepega excels in another method. But we'll see how it goes, and we'll look at the AO. But 1RW going under Delta HQ. I'll skip the breakdown there because I want to get into some other stuff. Jib Style and Korvac flying one, Helicopter, Pearson, Shy flying the other, and Coop is taking a swim in Delta. So let's go ahead quickly look at the AOs, because this will really tell us what's going to happen here. So the AOs are all in really separate areas. KO being the first AO, which... No, these are just spawn zones. Okay, so Op 4 is going to have to rush to get to the first AO, which is outside of their area. There's a defensive area right here with a few buildings that have been pushed together. But that's by design of the map. It's just been additionally fortified here. I think this AO is going to be a bit of a rush for Op 4 to take it. It looks like they're going to try to go for a defense of it. Terminal 2, though, I mean, it's a nice fortified area. They could really just capitalize on all the open areas around it and hold that one instead. And then Terminal 3 is just the town of Samato with a few small buildings added to it, but otherwise not much. This is the toughest AO to defend, in my opinion, because you have all this tree cover all around that can stop any advances here. I would just do a Hail Mary all in defense of Terminal 2. capitalize on the upper areas, utilize all the static assets. You got this nice open area over here to utilize as well. You could just lock down all the open areas and stop anyone, even Scandi, even Papega, any of the big groups from getting up in here. And that's what happened in a previous AO. We had a very similar one up here. And I think it got super close, though, due to an ineffective defense by the defenders, but that was months ago. Really, I think the major fight is going to be here, and how Op4 quickly tries to set up a defensive line, but might be overwhelmed by all the firepower that Blue Force sends off of their speedboats. But with this, the terminals have to be taken in order, so Terminal 1 has to be taken first, then 2, then 3, so we'll just have to see how that all goes. Otherwise, quickly looking, we got the first entirety of 1RW loaded in a chopper, entirety of X-Ray loaded in chopper. I'd imagine X-Ray's over there, 1RW's there, so we're going to see most of the forces going up in the naval side of things. Whew. So let me just state for the record, also 96, I just noticed that was a tier 3 resub, but anything custom for FNF, especially new mod sets, that's usually given in a week in advance, and also like over a month is spent planning on that date. So if they wanted to do anything custom for April 1st, it would have been discussed well in advance, because the amount of testing they have to do to make sure everything's balanced and works with is just very, very large. I know OFCRA did some stuff with Warhammer 40k PvP a while ago. That was really fun. FNF has done World War II and Vietnam, but usually they do a flavor of the month style like that once every 6 months to a year, and we're still fresh off of the latest Vietnam branches, so hard to say. And Jimbo, my friend, how are you doing? Jimbo is someone who was with me when this all started back in 2016. Always great to see him jump by. Otherwise, round is about to start 1 minute away. And I forgot, there was something else I wanted to talk about, but I have forgotten. So if anyone in chat remembers, jog my memory, I would appreciate it. But to answer Jimbo's question there, round 1 went pretty textbook in my opinion, so we'll just have to see how round 2 and 3 vary. I guess, depending on the AOs here, when you have these massive open areas, it doesn't matter how good of a community you are. Being caught in an open area is always a death sentence. And we're already seeing some preliminary fire going up on these hills. I guess they didn't realize that Op4 didn't start away from the terminal. But I guess keeping that open suppression in the beginning is always a good idea. Maybe because that UH-60 is immediately going to land on that hill. Trying to bleed off a little bit of speed to land low. Choppers are now coming in. You're seeing them also starting to tow the vehicles over to get those deployed. So you got this full-on naval invasion going. Blue Force starting to push in. But yes, this is round 2. I mistimed the prediction a bit. Now, I just heard them give the order that they have some people staying back to do Overwatch for these forces coming in. I'm going to tab out just to mute myself. And we'll keep everything going. Yep, so that squad's deployed. X-Ray still in the helicopter, though. I think that helicopter was staying up to give fire support, but now it's going to fly around. Try to get in this AO. We have the MTLB coming around on the wide flank here. Just an individual dedicated vehicle crew. Might try to cross this bridge to get on this ridge to flank Blue 4 coming in. That's a great play, but that's going to have to rely on Op 4 slowing down the Blue 4 force, and they're literally charging in the open. No one's pulling immediate defensive security. That might let Op 4 get right on top of this position. We see some Blue 4 guys already firing, though. That might attract... Here we go. Now they're starting to spot everyone. And now... we'll see if anyone looks down enough. But that could allow these Op 4 guys to get right up here. But no, we got a localized defense right here. And Op 4 is in a pickle. They have a lot of forces caught out in the open right now. And a UH-60 coming around. So quite a few Op4 down there already, dead or wounded. A lot of suppression going over here. There's no cover right here. It's all purely concealment. Bullets can penetrate. And Op4 completely misjudged how long it would take for Blue 4 to deploy on this hill. And it is a bloodbath for Op4. So that 10% numbers advantage Blue 4 already started with is only going to get even more widened here. But because Blue 4 have their entire force going for this objective and Op4 is still very much separated, we're just going to start seeing a massive defeat in detail here. As Op4's force, even though it was smaller, is going to be whittled down even further. As Blue 4 is doing this beautiful unified push here. Some spots being stopped by where there is Op4 resistance, but other parts quickly pushing through. You got Platoon HQ on top of this position himself. And again, I think we should have just abandoned this position from the get-go and just done a unified defense on Terminal 2, which we do see a squad up there, but it's not going to be enough if this number advantage is maintained. You have Blue 4 suppressing all the way back here, and Op4 is retreating. You got this group right here desperately trying to utilize their concealment, but it's not enough. Anyone in the open right now is going to be picked off because Blue 4 have actual positions of cover to work with right here, which means they have places they can duck behind if they take heavy fire. Which means Op4 have to get the first shot right. But, you know, the times where they are getting hit, they're able to then bring their guys back up because they have the cover to do it. A GL going down right on top of Mine Layer, but he manages to shrug it off without getting crippled, which I believe a gunshot just crippled him. But now look at this. Blue 4 trying to come around to flank through the concealment, but they are immediately getting picked off because that is also in the open. More Blue 4 potentially coming around as well. Honestly, these guys should hold, let the UH-60 do its job, but let Blue 4 take that terminal and then come around and flank instead. And that prediction is still going. You shot Vagrant in the head 5 times and he's still alive. I'm sorry to hear that, Falcon. Well, it looks like he finally went down. I believe this is Falcon's body. And that is Op4 ground command down. The prediction just ended by, I imagine, a lot of people put some points on Blue 4 last second, and we just saw some explosive traps go off. I do apologize that the prediction ran a little bit over. I didn't realize 20 minutes would be a bit too long. Falcon, may I recommend you take a break for the rest of the night then, if that's how you feel. Walk away from it because you're only going to get more angry.
Come over and Abimine and use him live on stream.
What word begins with A-B? Abuse. That's what you mean. All right, cool. Otherwise, UH-60 doing some really dangerous close runs here. Op4 did a great job deploying this smoke cover. We got Curie, Blue 4 command, a little exposed here as he's getting really close to some of these Op4 forces. I appreciate that UH-60 trying to get some shots in. It is getting some wounds here, but that's some very dangerous flying. But now you have the MTL. No, this is X-Ray with Stark and Cothers coming around, which are the suppressed shooters. They're going to potentially get one of the boats and maybe fire over, but Blue 4's too inland to really do anything proper. You got an MTLB that's come all the way around. I guess they weren't expecting Blue 4 to just immediately charge in, but that's exactly what Blue 4 did here. But Iceberg, nonetheless, thanks for the 37-month resub. I hope you enjoyed the operations, and I do hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. Boba Flux doing his best. He's taking pot shots up here. He has a scoped Scar as the marksman. That's a pretty good weapon. And the UH-60 still harassing this group as they're coming around. He's wounding them, though. I mean, look at them. They're getting crippled here. Broken even pulling out an M72. Now, I gotta wonder if Blue 4 is going to adapt and push forces here to encircle and eliminate this position. We got this Blue 4 group hot on their heels. They might not turn left, though. They might just allow the UH-60 to continue harassment. Meanwhile, Platoon HQ, he's heading back. He's gonna spot these two X-Ray guys, maybe even get picked off by him. But Blue 4, I would say, still need their commander to coordinate the rest of this fight, because they don't have a 2IC. So Chopper immediately starts taking fire. Kiri's dead. Kiri's dead. Yep. So Blue 4 command decapitated. How will that affect the squad cohesion? Usually when the commander gets killed, all cohesion goes out the window. So can the Op4 Charlie Force, TF131, the newest community to Friday Night Fights, capitalize on this. But they are in a town with Pepega Pirates, and Pepega Pirates play for keeps. Jeez, you see Shade there desperately trying to get a headshot, unable to make a connection. You got Sideways with him as well, but Op4 still haven't adjusted. I mean, look at this pile of bodies right here. Nick trying to crawl over, he gets flanked and eliminated. Just no reaction by TF131, and most of their force has already been cut down. Kerry coming in the chat to say screw himself in a, you know, more polite fashion. Boba's come around, he knocks out Hamster. I'm gonna be honest, Pepega and Scandy, they eat new communities for breakfast. Unless that community has a lot of PvP experience like Coalition when they first came in, it's usually a bloodbath. Yes, Boo. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. I think the only difficulty Blue 4 is going to have from here on out is maneuvering to the next AO, but Op4, I mean, we got a bit of a nice encirclement going here. We could see some good vehicle harassment. Blue 4's all ready to started pushing up some individual forces, but it's more members of Pepega. And it's against a weakened force. Yeah, Kyrie, it was 2 members of their X-Ray rushed around, I think, to get the boats to try to take out your UH-60.
Let's give him a warm welcome.
Oh gosh, it's Kanan, Guy Fieri, excuse me, Grand Moff Tarkane and Gonk Fieri. And Gonk just blew this guy away so hard, he literally flew. You got Maz over here desperately trying to fight back on no kills though. Gonk on 2, Grand Moff on 1. Just a bloodbath. Get gonked, I know, right? Got some shooting over here from a few of the remaining Op4 guys. They're able to knock out Tarkin. That's only going to alert Op4 to that position. Maz has the 2 IC because Vagrant has also died. Both sides are going to lose their commanding asset. Oh my gosh. Their commanding assets. That BTR just take a hit. I saw an explosion. Might have been an HE shell because it was a big, a lot of smoke in that explosion, which indicates the HE was utilized there instead of AP, which would have penetrated into the hull and caused a smaller one. I can't tell if we're seeing some blue on blue here. And it's hard to say because I'd imagine anyone from Pepega has a decent kill count by now. We got some boats flanking around. One member of X-Ray, I think, was just taken out. Thother's also getting hit right now, and he gets hit in the back of the head. So great play by these gunners here that were just able to take out both of the guys on the rear there. And that was one of Op4's last hopes, in my opinion. But look at this. Look at the amount of skulls we see on Blue 4. Command is dead, yeah, but I mean, it's less than 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9 total. And look at Op4's. Which, again, we don't see much, but entire groups are dead at this point. Just a mess. And their command elements down, part of their X-rays down. It's brutal. Now, one silver lining, though, is the few guys that pushed up here on their own are actually starting to meet their match. Op4's pulled back. But again, they're fighting Pepega. Gonk's the Gonk Town. Yes, let's merge the Gonk memes and the Guy Fieri memes. Keziah getting a great Hillary Clinton there, causing this man to not only commit suicide, but fly forward from his own suicide shots momentum. You got the UH-60 bombarding the BTR. They were doing repairs, so it did get damaged by whatever hit it. UH-60 desperately trying to kill any of the dismounted crewmen because it's not going to be able to penetrate into that vehicle. Now, great attack on Terminal 1, but how the hell is Blue 4 going to get up to Terminal 2? We could probably see them remount the boats, take them up to these river areas and push in, but this is where we're going to see a big bleed of time, and then even then, after all of that, they still then have to move inland to Terminal 3. I'm going to be honest, it's going to be a toughie, but as I say that, look at this. We've got X-Ray on the rear line here. They might be able to backcap Terminal 3 before Op4 push back to hold it. And if they can do that, then Blue 4 only has to worry about taking Terminal 2. But at this point, I think we're going to see an air vac of the UH-60s landing and picking up squads and moving them to a new position over at Terminal 2, which is going to be a tough thing to do because they need to recon out the area first. Now, I just saw the MTLB get hit. I don't know who that was tied to. You're seeing explosions and the fuel flame out on it. It was Alpha 1 up here. Okay. So I don't know if that was solo crewed or crewed by someone else, but yeah, I guess Op4 really just didn't plan for Blue 4 to rush this in the fashion that they had. But sometimes when you're the attacking faction, you're told to do it a certain way. Just go out and do it a certain way, you know? Especially when you have the UH-60s that can immediately go up and report if there's anything on the ridge and say, no, it's clear. And then you just push your boats right in. Because you can always, you know, at the last second, if they report there's hostiles on the ridge, you can immediately pull right, let all your miniguns and your machine guns on the boats fire up the ridge, and then find a different LZ. There's very little to lose there because you can literally overwhelm any defensive line with a shit ton of firepower. But we have a bit of a lull here because now we just have to see where things go. That Vic's still flaming out. Any chance for a massive killing spree for Blue 4? Maybe. Again, you got to consider there's a lot of open fields here. Op4 still have both of their BTR-80s in play. They could still get in certain angles where if Blue 4 wants to try to move in as infantry, they can get easily picked off from range, and you're starting to see that fire come in. This is a bit of an awkward angle for that BTR to utilize, though, plus they're misranging. Also, you're having the UH-60s harassing the BTRs. But the real issue I'm having right now is I don't see Blue 4 making any plans to start moving to the next terminal. Instead, we're seeing them move up on foot to take out this remaining Op4 garrison, which is just down to Gonk Fieri up 4 kills. Doing his best here. And you're seeing the remaining 3 Op4 defenders. There is a 4th, which has Dryden, but he's running north. Trying to maneuver away as more Blue 4 enter this town. I'm going to be honest, though. If time continues like this, I could still see Op4 holding the open areas around that hilltop and winning the time, but in which case it's going to be a long, and I mean long, 35 minutes. Also, I'm going to be honest, guys, I don't think I'm going to be able to cover round 3. Because I have to be out of here in 45 minutes, I just realized, for dinner. So we might be able to come back and cover a little bit of the NA branch, maybe rounds 2 and 3. Because that'll probably be around 9 o'clock, and I should be back by then. But there, that's what I'm talking about. That's suppression from along a very far branch. One guy going down, another guy getting crippled. But yeah, no, I think we'll do that. So we'll probably cover the evening NA branch rounds 2 and 3, and then we'll do some DayZ immediately after where you guys control me for the rest of the 1st of April, you know? I think that's a good compromise. IRL stream while I cast Arma. I don't think my in-laws would appreciate that. Battle Beef going down. I don't know to what, though. Can't tell if that was friendly fire or something else, because there wasn't really any Blue 4 around to deal that blow, unless I'm completely misinterpreting here. But yeah, maneuver-wise, I really don't know. When I meant in-laws. Did I say outlaws? My bad. And no, they wouldn't. Who needs in-laws when we have us? Well, ooh, a great trade right there by a Blue 4 and Op4 member. Battlebeef waking back up. It's all right, we'll have some time to BS in a second. Door open. Battlebeef saw the gun, but Offie had a mini-me, and that thing has a pretty high fire rate. Ooh. Hold up. Oh, no. Blue 4, do they hear it? No. Where's the AT guy? Azus. Azus. That's an engine sound. It's drowned out by the UH-60s. Despo immediately turns around upon realizing, but Blue 4 didn't react. Oh, that would have been... Oh, Azus just realized. Huh, wait a minute. Is that a BTR? What BTR? I don't see a BTR. Where's the BTR, everybody? I think I heard a BTR. I can't be certain now. Well, let's just keep moving this direction. Okay, yeah. Certainly a BTR. Another Moz round goes in from a different angle, but they were able to successfully get away. Now, that BTR could come around right here and get some pretty good long-range shots. Blue 4 quickly running into positions of cover here to potentially get in a position to hide from the BTR. No, AZ's just keeping this thing out like, if there's a BTR, I'll be able to get it. Oh, well. It is very dangerous to engage at that range. And now we're starting to see Blue 4 landing their helicopters with the intention of picking up their infantry. This is a really tight LZ. I don't know why you just land on the outside of the town. Because if you injure the helicopter... Oh, yeah, move your tail. All right, well. Very risky LZ, but sure, if it works, it works. Other UH-60 coming around, dropping vehicles off potentially. These guys grenading their rear. I think they saw the guys up on the crew spots over there. Technically, if that BTR were to come up and disable the helicopters, that would be very critical. All right, so they just dropped off one of the Vics here. They're coming into the land over there as well. But here is that reposition of forces that I talked about needed to happen. But by the time they begin their attack and Op4 thinks about pulling back, well, you're going to have Blue 4 on Terminal 3. And you got some Blue 4 guys firing back at those two Op4 players right there as well. Look, I mean, here's what I'll say about my in-laws. They don't necessarily understand nor respect what I do. And they didn't until I showed them the statistics in terms of revenue. Any other number didn't matter, but they saw as long as I was making money to be able to live with their daughter, that's all they cared about at the end of the day. Which I don't blame them for. Imagine you had a daughter and you had no idea what her boyfriend did for a living. But as long as it was legal and there was money involved with it, then I guess that would satisfy you, but that's just the world we live in. So, no, I can't weasel myself out of this one. Trust me, I try, but I can't do every single one. If I had it their way, I'd be over there like every month, all right? So just be happy I only have to do it a few times a year instead. But it is fun to go. I mean, they're Greek, and they know how to cook. And trust me, there's something about an ethnic family that knows how to cook meat. Like, it is so freaking good every single time. And they never overcook it either. They know how to cook the damn things properly. Like, if they overcooked everything, I'd absolutely hate it. Granted, Bloodwing's father does love everything overcooked, but at least he doesn't inflict that on everyone else. But, oh my gosh, her mother can cook fish. I've had fish at Michelin star restaurants that don't hold a fucking candle to what she can cook with her oven. My God. Like, it literally melts in your mouth. And then I remember there was one time where she did overcook the fish and she was so mad at herself. And you did taste it. It was a little dry. It was overcooked, but almost every other time, it's just perfect. Berzino, I believe, is the fish, the main Greek fish they eat. Just, you got to be careful for bones, though. All right, we have one UH-60 that's gone ahead and landed over here. This has Pepega Pirates dismounting. Again, still mostly at full strength. They're going to start moving up on this position. I got to be... I'm a little curious to see how Blue 4 are going to redeploy their forces as well. How many are going to stick to Land Rovers? And how they're going to attack these AOs. Because by this design, it is a really tough AO for for Blue 4 to attack, because the AOs are so spaced out, there's very limited transport. If Op4 were to take a more defensive approach, if they just held Terminal 2 with a very large force, and then Terminal 3 with a Vanguard force to prevent backcapping, and utilize their vehicles to instead hunt down and eliminate Blue 4 vehicles instead of infantry, they could have beaten this to attrition, which granted would have been a really boring round, but that would have been the easiest and safest way for Op4 to play this one. Now, no one here plays this game for it to be a boring round, myself included. I'm just stating tactically that would have been the best choice, but people, you know, you want to play your gun game to shoot your damn gun, not wait around on a hilltop for 30 minutes waiting for your opponent to come up. And that is the difference between myself and a few other people. I'll state the tactical way they should have done it, and some people believe they should always do it the tactical way to win, but I'm going to be honest here. Most people don't play Arma, even if they don't know it yet or realize it. They don't play Arma to win. They play Arma to shoot their fucking guns. Otherwise, why would they play this game? This game requires a lot of patience and a lot of waiting around for things to happen because it's a giant sandbox. If you want more gunplay action, why not just go to Call of Duty or Battlefield or something? Nah, people are here for an experience. But that experience still needs to deliver. Because otherwise, you're just going to wait around on a server doing nothing for 2 hours, just memeing around with your friends, which granted, once in a while, can be really fun. And I've been in ops like that, where nothing happened and we just dicked around with our friends. By all means, it's still a social event with a bunch of people. And you can have fun with that, but no one wants to do that every single time. And people that do want to do that every single time, let's be honest, they go to VR chat these days, and we find them there. To be social. Because they're too awkward in the real world to socialize, or they don't have, how do I word it? They don't have the opportunity to do it in the real world. Everyone's different. All right, so we're seeing some Land Rovers being deployed here. One of the UH-60s are firing at the BTR. That quickly remounts into the MTLB, but it looks like one of them got killed off. It's only Timek in there now. Despo was shot out before he could board, so I'm curious why they boarded. They probably boarded that because that was their only bit of cover, but yeah, now that BTR-80 is going to have to be solo crewed. Now, we're going to see a pincer maneuver here, but again, this is what I was worried about, because Pepega, they don't like to wait around. They're going to engage first. Can Op4 eliminate the entirety of Pepega before they have to then turn around and deal with this other Blue 4 group coming in? We do have some more Blue 4 mounted up and Vix coming in. We've got another helicopter coming around, potentially with more forces here. This is all open ground for Op4 to hold. They've dug fortifications. They could hold this, in my honest opinion, but it's going to be tough. But it's Scandi Recon, one of the two top communities here. So, especially fighting against Pepega, with all this open ground, I think they could do it. But it's going to be tough. Yeah, Jimbo. Where'd you have those missions, if you don't mind me asking? Engine just got hit. Pierce is really good with his flight skills, though. I imagine he's going to be able to auto-rotate it. You see him tilting back, so he drags speed. Landing right on that tree, though! And that +1 turned into a... that +7 turned into a +1. That is the entirety of one RW taken out. He would have been fine if he didn't hit that tree, but look at all the floating guns. Oh. He got everyone in there killed except for himself and Aslan. Oh, that's gotta suck. I streamer cursed him. I know, I'm evil. Scandi Recon bias, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I mean, Op4, their chance is slowly growing. It went from a very unlikely part to it's slowly going to become possible. The one issue is, look at this concave we're seeing here. They're actually timing it to attack this from multiple different sectors, but here's the potential issue. If these guys keep going up in this direction, they're going to have to either come down this ridge or come right here, which is going to mean they're open to this as they have to sprint down right here. This is going to be where smokes are deployed, but the smokes are going to roll downhill and potentially still expose them. This group right here is the closest one to engaging. They've got some vehicle support, but they're going to engage on their own. They do have some high ground, but this is where all of Op4's fortifications can turn and engage. This force right here, they're all the way in the back, plus they have this massive ridge to work with. So they're going to continue to go north. They'll probably come down into this area where it's the safest, come down right here, pass by this building, then come up right here, but they've got the longest trek in my opinion. What I'm basically trying to say is this force is going to engage first, might defeat itself in detail and have to pull back. Then that force is going to be spotted and engaged right there, maybe even push up, possibly get engaged, and then defeated, and then pulled back. In time for this force to be honest, in all honesty, probably be down here, maybe coming up, and then attack. My point is, Blue 4 is not going to attack this AO at the same time with all of their forces. They're going to attack one force at a time, and that might give Op4 enough time to repel each attack individually and hold out. This is Scandi Recon, one of the two factions I'd expect to be able to actually pull something like that off. This feels like esports of Arma. I'd say the truest version of esports you can get is in a community called Electronic Sportsmaster, which I will be covering their events now henceforth. But this is a pretty good interpretation of it. But esports are just dependent on what you make of it. The only reason I would say ESM is officially an esport is because they actually do have cash pools or cash prizes for their teams, whereas this is all just for the fun of it. This is all good practice. And Mr. Rat is right. If you want some solid betting advice, feel free to ask for it. But I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm often wrong. I am often wrong because you never know who is going to become a new star. Like Maz last week getting over a dozen kills. I didn't see that coming. And he single-handedly turned it around for his force to win under NA3. You don't know that. See, now that Blue 4 is attacking from this ridge and this force is back here, now we got two sides delivering fire, and this Op4 force could falter. And that could buy more time for this force to come around, but I think they're going to be too severely delayed. Also, Blue 4 not utilizing their vehicle support, or hell, they're keeping some of them in reserve. I think they're going to do a rush. They're going to try to weaken the outer defenses and just rush in, which could be costly, but that could also be exactly what they need to get a force right on top to really throw out the remaining Op4 members in disarray. I do appreciate, though, that every time we're seeing some Blue 4 guys trying to come out in the open here and engage, they're immediately getting hit. You can see those bloodstains right there. Oh, Electronic Arts is not going to buy Arma. There's no way in hell. I hope I didn't just caster curse myself there. Please, for the love of God, don't have EA buy this game. I don't know. We've got Malin that's died and one that's died. They've all died in open areas, though, not from positions of cover, which is good. Frost is unconscious over here. I think he's getting worked on by a medic. You still have the entirety of Bravo 2 alive. And as I say that, Gabian gets headshotted by a member of Pepega. GL's going in. 20 minutes left on the clock with Blue 4 right on top of the terminal, ready to back cap. We do have a little bit of a defensive line over here firing at that group, but I don't... It's unwarranted right now. They got to be turning to engage other areas. Blue 4, despite not having all their forces committed in the same direction. Oh my gosh. Vonk just crippled himself sliding off that ridge. But just because they're not committing all their forces, Op4 is engaging them regardless, and that is keeping their forces spread out. And if Op4 perceives that they're being surrounded and decides to engage those forces regardless of whether or not they're in position to actually be a threat to them, that's where the issue lies. And I love how Timing's got now the Vikings running back on foot, but that means the BTR ran out of fuel or something. Ay, ay, ay. You Gucci, righto, Falcon. Well, I'm glad you calmed down. Hope you're better in round 3 if you decide to play, but I don't think I'll be able to cover it because I'll have to disappear. But I'll come back for rounds 2 and 3 for NA. If not, at least round 3 because that'll be late enough. Dobbs desperately working on Pete Frost here. Did someone else just slide down that ridge? Yeah, so one thing about these ridges, guys, you cannot walk up them. Even with enhanced movement, it is very, very steep. Your character's going to start sliding down. Gravity will almost always win. We have a Moz round coming in. Didn't get a successful hit, though. I do like how that BTT gun is waiting right there. But yeah, when they're up here, they're just static positions. They just move the guns. It's really funny. 18 minutes, but the defense has to be here. Let's see, in 5 minutes, this group, they're going to get on the ridge and try to provide long-range supporting fire to keep that group pinned, which is going to mean that this small group in defensive line has to hold against that group as we're having Pepega starting to come up and move around. This is where Op4 is weakest right now, and I think Pepega are going to be able to just immediately break through if these other two groups stay on Overwatch. That's why Alphas stopped moving and are instead getting on this ridge in positions of cover behind these trees to keep this force pinned, because I think regardless of the fact that Curie, who is the Blue 4 ground command, is dead, these guys are potentially working together, or this is just beautifully orchestrating itself where you are having Pepega aggression with two other groups that are less aggressive, but instead opting to engage from range to keep these forces pinned so that the Pepega aggression can do its job. I think that's the more likely one, because I've heard testimony time and time again that usually by this time, communication has fully broken down, especially without ground commanders. Has Bloodwing pranked me yet? No, she has not. And there we go. Mike Binks coming up and getting that kill on that one Op4 sentry, and I think it's over. You kind of had a plan? Good enough for me, Donner. Where were you? Blue 4? What squad were you in, if you don't mind me asking? AT being heard. Beautiful hit! Taking out that Vodnik. Multiple kills. That was done by an AT man back here. I don't see an AT symbol, though, so I actually have no idea who got the kill, but it definitely came from over here. I have no idea. Now you got Pepega just barreling through. The heli crash Delta? Gotcha. Yeah, so you were part of the squad that didn't make it, unfortunately, because Pierce couldn't see under him, and he didn't see that he was landing on a tree. It happens. Dinner is an April Fool's prank. Oof. Don't say that. It breaks my heart. Yeah, Op4 is getting whittled down because even though Blue 4 wasn't doing a three-pronged attack, Op4 started engaging all sides of the attack, and that action alone was enough. No, Gonk! Oh god, Gonk! I don't see an explosive specialist alive, though, for Op4, so it's quite possible that the explosive specialist is dead. The chopper just got blown out of the sky! I'm sorry, what? Okay. The Arma 3 is something that a lot of people would consider a gateway to the unnatural. I have no idea how the fuck Korvac did that. He's Iron Man. His co-pilot didn't make it, but he did. He's just Iron Man. Physics are optional for Korvac. You know what? I think I agree. So the terminal is in this one building right here. You got Mike Binks coming up. Two Op4 guys not realize they're getting breached. Oh, Mike with a 240 Bravo, but gets bitch slapped back by Nimia. She is not having any Pepega Pirates members coming up on her today. Wow. The freaking bitch slap. Oh, I love it. Get that 240 out of my fucking face, said Nim. Now, can they do that against literally like 20 more guys? We also have some of Alpha now rushing over. They did a really quick rush despite only being infantry. We have a few defenders, but they are still pinned as these remaining Blue 4 guys come in. Hey, Tim, welcome. Whiplash doing his best to hold. He's gonna breach out. That's a really big mistake in my opinion. Oh god, the dodge. The dodge. Gonk Fieri desperately trying to run, but gets pistol whipped from range. Oh my god, it's just up to Nim. Whip couldn't bitch slap the 240 hard enough. And I think Nim just bitch slapped Gonk Fieri out as well. 14 minutes, this entire encirclement on Blue 4. You're just going to see the daisy chain after Terminal 2 gets taken to Terminal 3. It's over. The question is, how long can Yanni and Nim last? Some long-range suppression given by Barrett over here. Oh! Yanni, I can't tell if he got picked off by that Overwatch element or from the flank, potentially by Pierce there. Can Nimia hold her house? There's a lot of people that want to get into that house to start the daisy chain. You only have Cullis up there remaining. There's a wounded guy, but it's over. You've got Dryden and Grav coming down from the ridge. You've got Tymek on the rear. If Nim could hold for a few minutes, maybe we could see some other Op4 players get into position here, but it's going to be a tough fight. You think Tymek could potentially pick people off? Maybe. But even then, this is where the main fight is. Nim has to fight off 6 blue 4. Which, granted, could be a manageable number. That building is not going to blow up. There's a lot of positions in here where she could hide. She could grab the 240 at CQC. It could be a very deadly weapon. She's going to hold the staircase instead. Where is the terminal, though? The terminal's on the first floor. So realistically, she can continue to hold this spot because someone can immediately run in and go on the left. That's what Pierce is going to do. Nim has no choice but to push down. Pierce trying to interact with it. Both of them trading nades. Nim then folds in. Oh, but Nim exposes herself and gets taken out by Barrister Offie's 249. Look at the disrespect. He ran down, and it is over. There's the 1 minute 30 for the daisy chain, and then we're going to see the other terminal get hit in a bit. Oh, it's only counting down in factors of 5. It's over. It's over. I do feel sorry, too, because they didn't do anything. They just ran over and bat-capped. But I'm going to be honest, without them, Blue 4, I don't think would have had the time to maneuver to take Terminal 3. But at the same time, if Op 4 in this position had a squad instead of going to Terminal 1, hold Terminal 3, fight off X-Ray, in these 11 minutes, I think Op 4 still could have won. It was just a massive miscalculation of how quickly Blue 4 could mobilize on Terminal 1. And that is, I think, the mistake that Op 4 command made. No offense to Vagrant. He's normally a really good commander. But especially if you're fighting a faction with a shit ton of armed speedboat miniguns, if your first objective is a coastal one, you don't want to touch that. You want to just let that fold, give yourself the extra time, go cover Terminal 2 and Terminal 3, and just wait it out there. Wow, so Nafs actually woke back up. Spiky trying to breach, gonna run right into Nafs. And Nafs immediately bitch slaps Spiky back. I'm not sure if that's a rule, but I think that is, because you're not supposed to be able to block stuff, block entryways with trenches, but we'll let the admins sort that shit out. But even then, it's over. Any reason why you don't do recorded vids of these games? I do. They're just posted on the Liru Shenanigans channel. I don't have all the room on my main channel to post them all, because otherwise the main channel would be literally releasing like 8 or 9 videos a day, and no one has the time to watch 8 or 9 videos a day on one channel. So I've separated where my videos are set up. Yeah, it's the memes channel. I gotta rewrite that command, because it used to be the memes channel, but I rebranded it as the PvP channel. About a year and a half ago, when I got rid of all my editors. But yeah, no, I just gotta spring clean some things here and there. But that is the round. It was a close one, too. But anyway, we're going to be back for round 2 and 3 of NA later tonight. Stone Willow Tree, thanks for gifting 5 subs. If you got a sub from Stone Willow Tree, make sure you thank them. Otherwise, hope you all keep doing the operations. Hope you get a nice kick out of the scenario. Did I see Twitch's April Fools? No. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't really let go of the editors. The editors let go of me. But that is a different story for another time, I might tell. later in the future. But otherwise, that is going to be it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Go operate operationally. We will be back hopefully around 9:30 for the NA branch, and then we'll play fucking DND. No. Daisy. That's it. And I'll let you guys troll me with sound bites. Otherwise, cheers, guys, and have a good one. And yes, I will pay it out in a second. There it is officially, and that's GG.
Send in goat